It's the morning of November 7th. In my opinion, this starts the best 3 or 4 days of the season. There's more does coming in heat, but they're still not to the peak. We're not to that lockdown phase yet. We're just right before it. So your chances of seeing a hot doe go by the stand increase. It's just a matter of whether she's got the right buck behind her or not. We're back here at the North Farm. Even after letting Spencer get our wind yesterday, that was 400 yards from where we're at right now probably. So, and I wouldn't be surprised if he came back through, especially if he got on a doe. And where we're at, we have had him over here before on camera, but I'm more looking for that flyer 9 who's still up here, who I haven't seen from the stand yet. So I did get another picture of him early this morning, so I know he's around. Just a matter of getting him through here. The setup we're in, we've been in it before. I think you've probably seen it. But it just kind of funnels these deer all right down here in front of us at about 30 yards if they're moving through. And the hope is with this northeast wind, they're going to be on this side of these 2 blocks of timber, sitting checking for does, cruising through here. We just had a young buck kind of do that. He dove into this timber in front of us before I would expect a mature buck to, but that's the hope for today. That's kind of what we got going on. Again, wouldn't be surprised if Spencer showed up, but more expecting that flyer 9 to be somewhere around. If we see one, we can see a long ways up here. Maybe we'll do some rattling at him. Probably won't do any blind calling today. We'll see how that goes. But high hopes. Best time of the year to be in a stand, and it's a pretty good morning. 44, 45 degrees. Not as good as it's going to be here this upcoming weekend, but still supposed to be a little cooler today. I think the high's like 64, so even that should be better for this afternoon if we get to go out. So. After 8:30, it's been a pretty slow morning. Just that one little buck is all I've seen. Wish I could stay out here a little longer. It's pretty nice weather to sit in. Not really ideal yet for the deer. I mean, I'd like it to be a little colder, but it does make for a nice sit. Either way, just that one deer this morning. I did get some good news though. After I did the opening interview, I got a picture from the camera that's down here in front of us. And the deer that winded me yesterday is still around, so he was here about 10 minutes before I got in, so I would have liked him to have been about 15 minutes later. And right at first light we could have had him on the ground, but it is what it is. I'm just glad to see that he's still around here and that he's moving in. I mean, he would have been over there in that timber in daylight, so probably was in that timber in daylight. Didn't have a good wind to hunt that over there today, but it's good to see him anyway. Hopefully I get to get out somewhere this afternoon. Well, it's the evening of November 7th now. I'm back up here at the North Farm. Been hunting this pretty hard for the last few days, but that's why I didn't hunt it a lot in October. And actually this spot that I'm in, I haven't hunted since the middle of October, so it's been pretty untouched down here. It's a good 300-400 yards away from where we were this morning, which was a couple 200-300 yards away where we were yesterday morning. So there's a little bit of room to spread out up here, and kind of spread out the impact and intrusion and all that. So, but again, this is the time of year to be hammering in on your best spots. So especially on a day like today, it's cooler than it has been. It's probably a 10-degree drop since yesterday. I'm actually down here on the bottom of this farm in a little patch of timber where these creeks meet and these ditches meet together. Our wind should be really good for here. There's not any reason they should be downwind of me right here, even more so than the other morning, unless they follow this field edge completely around back here behind us, which they generally don't do. We should be in good shape, and even then our wind is enough out in the north. I think we'll be okay. We're giving them just a little bit if they're coming from the west, which is kind of where I expect them to come from. So they should feel comfortable moving in here, like we talked about before, giving them just enough wind to make them feel comfortable coming through here. So I think that's the situation we got. I expect them to come either from straight west of us or up here to the north. There's a chance they could come from in front of us because they're shelling this corn out here south of this place, which is good. I think that's going to be a benefit. I know there were some deer staying down in there in that corn and the timber next to it, so I expect them to have those deer stirred up. Hopefully they're moving up here to bed, and we'll get something on its feet early, maybe going back down there when they get done, or just going back down to check it out. So, like I said, I haven't hunted this since October, middle of October. I was running a camera here. This is actually where I got the first picture of Spencer at, in that buck we call Ghost. I gotta look and see if that deer's potentially the Flyer 9, or if it's just we haven't seen him again since then. But I haven't ran the camera even since the 3rd week of October, probably the beginning of that week. Batteries went dead. I pulled it out, and I just haven't put it back. So I'm not 100% sure what's down here regularly. I do know they're still using it. The mock scrape that I made for that camera has been worked pretty recently. There was a branch broken off into it pretty freshly, some fresh tracks where they'd freshen that scrape up. So I went ahead and put some buck tarsal spray on it, and I put a little bit out here in front of us just to maybe bring them right by into it. If they get downwind of that, before they get downwind of us, maybe they'll catch that scent and come to it, and then work over here in front of us, and we'll have a nice little 20-yard shot. But I do really like this setup. We'll just have to see. I can see a lot from here too, so I got the binoculars out. Maybe we'll be able to rattle something in if we can see it. I have a little bit of a feeling that I might get a picture over there close to that other stand later this evening, but we'll find out about 5 o'clock, I guess. And if we do, maybe I'll do some rattling and see if I can get them over here. It's a little bit windy for them hearing, but I'd say it'll lay down. It's just a pretty good evening right now, especially November 7th. Been a lot of big deer killed already today, so we're gonna sit in here for a couple hours and hope one of our shooters comes by. We got about 5 minutes left to light. Haven't seen any deer tonight. Barely seen any squirrels. It's really good weather tonight. I know, I'm sure some guys have been shooting some deer, seeing some this evening, but not where we're at. I don't think I got anything on the camera either. But we'll go back to the house and figure out what the weather's going to do tomorrow and make a plan for then.